It's Luke here of SimBoxx, and delighted this evening to be joined by boxing trainer Billy Nelson. Billy, how are we doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good man. Yeah,
All
great to
good.
have you on as always. It's been a little while since we caught up, and yeah, what a better time to have a chat than on fight week ahead of Oleksandr Usyk versus Daniel Dubois 2, the undisputed heavyweight world titles. Billy, you excited for this fight?
I'm looking forward to the fight. It should be a intriguing fight. I think one person's got to make a lot of changes, and correct. Daniel's got to make a lot of changes to make this fight close. Um, has he got the ability to adapt? I don't know.
Have you seen enough in the three fights or four fights since the first loss to Usyk to suggest that Daniel Dubois is a better fighter, that is more accomplished, that is more ready for the challenge of Oleksandr Usyk this time around?
Likely, and I say that simply because against Miller, he was hurt. He was hurt in round five or round six, quite badly hurt. And Miller openly said he never trained for that fight after it. It still took him 8 or 9 rounds to get him out. Hargovic couldn't miss him initially, but he done well against Anthony Joshua. He seemed to be a strong mindset against Anthony. But is Anthony over the hill now? Many think he is. That being the case, and you can't take too much out of it. But Usyk's certainly not over the hill, is he?
No, of course not. Let's go back and pick the bones of the first fight, Billy. I'd like to get your opinion on a couple of things from that fight. First off, the this it's still rumbling on now, and of course it's what's led to this rematch. Was it? And I've seen like the smile on your face, and I've seen your words on social media. Low blow or legal shot? What was your thoughts in that fifth round in the first fight?
Without a shadow of doubt, it was a low blow. There's pictures to prove it. Listen, let's just make one thing abundantly clear. Usyk is an absolute legend of the sport, a total warrior. This man's won every single title fight away from home. Fear in nobody. Great boxer, absolutely immense boxer. That man went down and he was shaking, like shock because he's been hit so low. I don't know whether it was the protector that hit his privates or the glove hit his. I don't know, but there was something that upset that man, and it wasn't a body shot because that man's been hit with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of body shots, and he's not had that reaction. So for me to have that, first and foremost, my eyes seen it was low. Secondly, the reaction of Usyk confirmed it was a low blow. But your Frank Warren, the fullest of respect, if you're Frank Warren, well, Frank Warren actually went to the WBA and appealed, and unanimously they said it was a low blow. So hey ho, it was a low blow. The referee called it instantly. The appeals panel, of which a group of experts watched the video unanimously, not split, unanimously said that it was a low blow. So it was a low blow. But you've got to cling on to. You've got to have some wee confidence thing there, and that's what they're clinging on. But that's not enough.
So
Because let's be perfectly honest. No disrespect to Daniel, he was comprehensively outclassed in the fight. Never won a round, never won a minute of a round of the fight, and get beat
of course, of course.
and quit. Hello, quit as well.
Well, that was going to be the second part of my two-pronged question. There, again, I'm not in a position. I don't get in the ring and lace up the gloves, so it's not for me to say did he quit. But in your opinion, do you think that he'd had enough in that ninth round?
Well, do you not? I mean, just be honest. I mean, he's on his knee at three, and he's looking up at referee for 6 seconds. Plenty of time to get up. He done it against Joyce as well, didn't he? And believe me, and it's not just Daniel. If you do that and at one time, you'll do it again. And he's done it twice now. It's in you. You know the way out when the going gets too tough.
Yeah, I think I've seen Carl Frampton and Tony Bellew both said that in the lead up to this fight as well.
But it's fact. We're all boxing men. We all know what we're talking about.
Billy, am I right in saying that you've had Mike McCauley spar Usyk in the past?
Mm-hmm.
And what from first-hand experience, obviously what happens in sparring stays in sparring, but do you buy into this idea that Usyk doesn't like it to the body? Obviously, no boxer likes it to the body. No one wants to get hit, but have you noticed firsthand that there's any vulnerability around him taking body shots? Not just with Daniel Dubois, but apparently there's stories of him in the when in the amateurs and whatnot that he's been hurt to the body.
Tell me a boxer that likes it to the body, and I'll tell you a liar. I'd say it's his weakness. But I mean, everybody jumped on the bandwagon after Martin McCauley openly said that he stopped him in sparring, of which he did do. Right? So what? Then everybody seems to think, oh, they can do it. Martin McCauley can. The difference being, you need to set a trap to land that shot. Some guys are just winging away to the body, and something like Usyk is just going to no take these shots flush. It's as simple as that. First and foremost, you need to get close enough to do it. And most of the heavyweights haven't got the defensive qualities or the head movement to get themselves past his jab, which is a fantastic. And I've stated that on online, saying, in my opinion, Daniel's not got the defensive qualities or the head movement to get past him enough to try and get inside and land the body shots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I might be proved wrong. And 20-30 for Usyk.
Of course. Now, yourself, Billy, you build a good relationship, a solid relationship with your fighters. And of course, we've seen Daniel Dubois link up with Don Charles. How much of this improvement, these changes in Daniel Dubois that we've seen in the fight since that loss to Usyk, should Don Charles be getting credited for? Because he seems to really have turned the corner, Daniel Dubois, under the tutelage of Don Charles.
Very much so. It's all down to Don. It's all down to Don. I've had Don stay in my house, I think, 2 or 3 times, and he's a very positive thinking man. And I think he's installed confidence in Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it could be a case of Usyk getting old overnight? It's an old boxing cliche, but do you think we're getting at that stage of Usyk's career where he could get old overnight? That when he steps into the ring on Saturday night, that it's one step too far and that age catches up to him. Father time waits for no man.
I think generally there's signs in previous fights, and there's absolutely no sign of that against Fury in his last fight. I think that's people just clutching at straws, I'm afraid.
And in terms of how this fight might play out, if he was in the corner of Daniel Dubois, he's got it in his mind that he's been bamboozled by Usyk before now. How would you be telling him to approach this fight? Is it as simple as saying go out there and give it everything for 6 rounds and then Usyk might take over in the second half, or is that too simplistic to say? How do you look at the fight, Billy?
Why would you tell him to do that? Because if he tries to go out and gives him as much as he can, it's well known Daniel tires after 5, 6 rounds. Even against Miller, who was even more shattered than what Daniel was. You know, no, you can't do that. You need to be Daniel's a puncher, mate. Right? He's not a clever fighter. He's a puncher. He's not got a plan B. As excellent a puncher it is, he's nowhere near the boxing IQ of Usyk and other top heavyweights. So I think he's got to, if he can, pressurise him, educated pressure. But it's so hard against Usyk because his movement is you know he's fantastic throwing a jab, stepping off to the right and double jab over your left. He's just different gravy. I mean, the amount of times he done it, Anthony Joshua, and nobody picked up on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be very difficult. Daniel can win if he knocks him out. Otherwise, the same will apply as the first fight because he never won a round.
Yeah.
You know, But I wish him well.
Of course, of course. With Alexander Usyk, if he was to lose to Daniel Dubois, you'd imagine there'd be a trilogy there because it's the natural progression of that rivalry. But should Usyk be victorious, would you like to see him hang up the gloves? You know, it's not for us to say who should and shouldn't retire, but do you think, given all he's accomplished, becoming two-time undisputed heavyweight world champion, he's undisputed cruiserweight, all the accolades, would you agree it'd be the right time for Usyk to possibly hang them up, that there's nothing else to achieve?
It would be the right time to hang them up and give others a chance. But if rumours are to be believed, he's fighting Tyson Fury in April the 18th or whatever the case may be at Wembley. And there'll be a shitload of money thrown at him to not retire. And no matter who you are or how much you've got, if you're getting offered astronomical amounts of money, the chances are he'll fight him.
Now, you know, just touching on that there, Billy, it's quite interesting that you brought that up. I was thinking this about Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano when they thought the trilogy fight last week. Say Serrano won, or if Tyson Fury beat Usyk in the trilogy fight, and it becomes 2-1. You know, they're not going to fight a best of five, are they? It's not like that
No,
kind of scenario.
no.
So then, say if Fury was to beat Usyk, again, I'm sort of forward thinking here, or if Serrano had beat Taylor, you know, the other fighters won two, but you won the most recent fight, so it kind of can distort the perception of the rivalry, can't it? You know, I don't quite get my head around that. When a fight is won twice, why would it still be a trilogy?
If Tyson Fury beat Usyk the next time, I think Usyk would then simply retire.
You think?
But what else is there for him to do? He's done everything. He's beat everybody in their home ground, in their home turf.
Yeah,
There's nothing more to do. Should he fight Tyson again? No, because he's beat him twice. Close as they were, still beat him.
yeah, of course.
That's why I still don't think there should have been a third fight with Taylor and Serrano. Because Taylor, I mean, Taylor learnt more off the two fights than what Serrano did, clearly, because she won the third fight clear on what she won the first two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. So, yeah, in terms of, I'm not sure if it's something you do, but in terms of all-time rankings, if Usyk was to go two-time undisputed at heavyweight on Saturday night, how highly would you rank him all-time in terms of heavyweight greats?
You've got to put him in the top 6 or 7, haven't you? But let's be perfectly honest, right? The heavyweight division isn't like what it was in the 60s and 70s.
Mhm.
There was multiple top fighters that would have, people say, oh, today's boxers would have been. I'm not so sure. They were doing 15 rounds, they were fighting a whole lot more regular
Yeah,
than what the modern boxer is.
yeah.
And we're supposed to have, modern science to make you last long. What shite.
Yeah, it's always
Honestly.
difficult comparing eras, isn't it? But I think on accolades alone, as you say, he's certainly right up there, just
Oh,
based off achievements.
oh, 100%. I mean, he never lost as a cruiserweight, undisputed. He's no lost as a heavyweight as yet, undefeated. What a fighter! What an absolute legend, man.
Of course,
And a nice guy, by the way. You
yeah,
can't help but laugh some of the times you see him. Can you know? He's got that cheeky look about his, and then he rolls his eyes. No, you're in fits of laughter because he's that relaxed and confident in his own ability.
of course. So it's similar very much to Canelo. You know, when these guys they
Mm.
start learning English and you see the character come out more and they really develop in front of your eyes. And Usyk's such a unique character, and I think that's one of the things that I'll be remembered for just as much as his accomplishments inside the ring. Just what a guy he is out of the ring.
And I read people trying to knock Canelo. How can you possibly knock that guy? Has it been beat once, twice,
Twice,
once,
yeah.
twice?
Bivol and Mayweather.
Mayweather, Bivol, Bivol. Come on, he was a light heavyweight. He's he's not a lightweight. He's not even a super middleweight. He's actually quite small. Middleweight would be the max. I think he should have went to, but I mean, he's done fantastically well to win it. Super middleweight as well. Did he win a world title at light heavyweight? I don't think he did he?
Yeah, when he stopped Sergey Kovalev. I think he got a version of the title there, but Kovalev was done, wasn't he?
He was done when it was. Aye. As
So
good a fighter he was as well when he was young. You know what I mean? Look what he done to good fighter for Wales,
Nathan Cleverly.
Cleverly. He was a good fighter, Cleverly, you know.
Yeah. We're going off on a tangent there, Billy, but let's spin it back round to Saturday night to finish off with that part. But Your prediction. I'll put you on the spot. Give us your thoughts, your prediction on Saturday night. Usyk Dubois 2.
If Usyk doesn't stop him late on, he'll comprehensively beat him on points.
Interesting, interesting. Billy, just a quick word on a couple of your fighters. You got, an ever expanding stable. We've seen the news recently with Jaron Ennis moving up to 154 pounds at the vacant IBF World Welterweight title will be on the line in the second fight between Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan. Just your thoughts on that, and are we any closer to getting a date and a venue finalised?
Well, we've got a date in the venue, which will be announced by the promoters. Lewis is actually over at Windsor Park tonight, getting introduced to the crowd for the game against Lingfield against Shelburne.
Right.
So that's all started. The date and venue are set when they get announced is.
Right.
I don't know when that's going to. It must be soon. It will be soon.
It's really grew into, it was a big fight the first time around, but with the controversy, whichever way you want to look at it, it was a controversial ending. And now with the world title on the line, it's such a big fight.
Well, there's only one way you can look at it. When your boxer gets the head stuck in him 10 times, the opposition boxer gets one 4 times, gets 2 points took off him for head clashes. The elbow was the worst out of a lot of them, then punches you after the bell. It's actually it's the dirtiest opponent I've ever faced as a coach with one of my boxers. It was disgusting, and nobody's ever put a hand up and said, you might, we done wrong, so we've been penalised.
Mm-hmm.
The crux of their appeal was that there wasn't a clacker at 10 seconds. There's no a clacker in a gym, and the bell goes at the end of a round. You automatically stop. You don't throw more punches.
Yeah.
Every day of their life, they hear a bell ring, they stop punching. Yeah. So why would you continue punching? 8,000 people heard the bell. I heard the bell. Crocker heard the bell. Paddy Dimmer.
Yeah. In terms of Lewis,
and by the way, but again, Paddy Donovan boxed really well that night, but his discipline let him down, and some of the fouling was horrendous, especially the elbow. And I've never known. I mean, there must be a psychic somewhere in the stadium that night, because a prediction was made and it came to spot on fruition, that Paddy would potentially get raised in the rankings, become the highest candidate for Lewis Crocker if it were a vacant title. And lo and behold, you lose a fight and you get moved up for 63. I'd love to know what number four number 5 think of that.
Yeah.
I've never. Have you? Do you know anybody that moved up from 63 in the rankings?
No, I don't, Billy. But if we was to sit here and discuss the workings of these ranking and governing bodies, we could be sat here all evening.
But I'm just pointing out a fact.
Yep.
That's it's wrong. But there we go. We're fighting them enemy, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, as we all are, it should be a great fight and a great occasion. Just a quick word on another welterweight fight that's going down this weekend. It was one that I did want to get your opinion on. Manny Pacquiao returning to the ring after 4 years. Billy, he's going straight in with a WBC welterweight world champion Mario Barrios. You've got a fight, of course. Lewis Crocker's going to fight for the IBF world title, but you've got an active fighter in the welterweight division. How does it make you think that Manny Pacquiao, all-time great, fantastic career, the accomplishments he achieved were amazing, but that he's coming back after a loss after 4 years and walking straight into a world title fight? As a trainer of a welterweight contender yourself, what's your thoughts on Saturday night?
Nobody should be fighting at 47. Nobody. Don't care who you're, how much a legend you are. That's wrong. How can you be at the ring for 4 years and get a world title fight straight away? It just stinks of politics, isn't it? Just bad. It's a bad look in boxing, by the way. God forbid he gets knocked out or gets hurt.
Yep.
Questions will be answered, won't they? People want to answer some serious tough questions.
Let's flip it around a touch, Billy. Say if Lewis Crocker's victorious and he wins the IBF world title, Manny Pacquiao beats Mario Barrios, and they was to contact you and look at doing a unification, How would you feel being put into that position for Lewis Crocker that he's fighting Manny Pacquiao at this stage of his career?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not Lewis's manager. That's purely up to Lewis and his manager.
Yep.
No doubt, I would get asked my position on it, but I wouldn't be comfortable. No,
Yeah, it's such a tough one.
And it's down to respect for Manny Pacquiao because he's a living legend.
Yep.
You don't want to see people going out in a. I mean, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Who wants to remember Mike Tyson fighting the way he did against Jake Paul? That man had guys beat before he even walked in the ring.
Yep.
Intimidation, just the power that he possessed, and that man walked in the ring like that.
Yeah, it's not good to see. It's not good to see. Like you say, it's never going to be a good look for boxing. Should he
Not
go
at all.
on Saturday? Just a word on Mario Barrios. He seems to be just, he's a WBC welterweight world champion, but he's secondary in this. Like, it's all about Manny Pacquiao's return. And then when you've had the talks of Conor Benn, he was either going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. Or go and fight Mario Barrios and win the WBC world title. It seems very much so that Mario Barrios is overlooked whichever way you turn. He's a solid competitor in his own right.
Well, again, Conor Benn, how can he get a world title fight coming off a loss? It shouldn't happen. And then any of the organisations coming off a loss, you shouldn't get a world title fight. Whether he fights Chris Eubank or not, I heard it's Eddie's given 24 hours for him to make a decision, supposedly. But we'll see what Turkey Al Sheikh thinks of that. I think the fight will happen. I think there will be slight movements on the weight. I mean, a big kick up about the weight in the first fight, and rightly so. Of course, he should be given some grace on the weight. For the second fight, he was the winner after all.
Yeah.
But listen, if you're Conor Benn, you're desperate for that rematch because he doesn't want just for the family name. He doesn't want another Eubank beating the Benn.
Of course.
And no getting the opportunity to avenge that loss.
And you almost get the impression sometimes with Chris Eubank Jr. that given that he won the first fight and he's a master manipulator anyway,
You know what I mean?
he loves the idea of being in control here. That he's got Conor Benn on a piece of string almost. That he's dancing to his tune.
And rightly so, he's the winner.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be any different if the shoe was another foot?
Absolutely not.
So it's the bragging rights, isn't it? It's the bragging rights.
That's what comes with victory. Billy, as always, it's an absolute pleasure to catch up. Is there anything you'd like to add before we close out?
No, just looking forward to a good show on Saturday night. And, with regards to my boys, I've got a lot of fights coming up. Young Ryan Clark's fighting on the 29th of August. Then I've got Cyrus Patterson. He's just been announced that he's going to be fighting on the 6th of September. Love for him to get a shot at the British title again against Conor Walker. That'd be a much, much more difficult fight for Conor this time. And then we're actually we're going abroad for a training camp with Crocker, and then returning for Ryan Clark and Cyrus Patterson, and then it'll be Crocker, and hopefully Reactor will be on Benn and Eubank undercard. Hopefully,
yeah, interesting.
But I don't. It's very difficult to get in touch with a promoter just now. It's about 8 or 9 weeks since we spoke, so we need some clarity on what's going to happen moving forward.
Of course, I'm sure Richard will have one eye on Lawrence Coley and Kevin Lorena this weekend as well. I completely forgot about that, but that's a fight I'm sure he'd be interested in the outcome of.
Aye, I mean, win or lose, if Lorena wins, gladly fight him. If Lawrence wins, gladly fight him. But if Lorena get beat, he's still holding on to the Bridgerweight world title. Mm-hmm. Big Richard gladly dropped into 16 stone. Take that title off him, no bother.
And of course, a quick word on Martin Bacoli. Where are we up to with Big Martin? What's the plans with him?
There's a few things in motion now. Some, we can't say too much now, but something's good. Something good, hopefully.
Brilliant. Well, as I say, Billy, it's always a pleasure to catch up. We look forward to the fights coming up for your stable. And yeah, thanks for your time with SimBoxx this evening.
You're welcome, mate. Cheers.